But here's the thing, Will. This isn't a new point of an inflection point, right? Like this is something that has fundamentally been true for years, as far back as I can remember, right? As far back as me being a kid, right? The difference that I see is that you could put a sign in your yard that said, and this happened in my neighborhood. Maybe you've experienced something like this yourself, where you know my family tended to lean right. I would say more moderately right, and our neighbors leaned moderately left. And they would put up their whatever blue sign, and we put up our red sign, right? And we joked about it as neighbors, like it's no big deal, right? And we knew that they didn't have Christian values and that we did. It was fine. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big issue. So I guess as part of this cancel culture, and what I wanted to get from you, and obviously I appreciate the Genesis point of like looking back through the kind of the lens through history. But when did we cross the line, and why? Of it becoming so extreme that we are operating in these mobs like you described, these Twitter mobs of mediocre people, of just trying to tear down other people and jealousy. And when did it just not become okay to disagree, to have different viewpoints, and that be all right? That's a part of a healthy society.
I think that social media is probably the main cause of it.
As I was going with it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the algorithms work, this isn't a leftist or even conservative thing. If you're a leftist and you are on social media and you're on Facebook and you like a CNN article, then the left is going to continue to, or Facebook is going to continue to push you with leftist articles, leftist videos, all sorts of stuff. And if you're
Yeah.
conservative, you like a Fox News thing, you're going to keep getting pushed with these things. So you're never seeing a different point of view unless you are searching it out yourself, because these people want to keep you on the app. So then when you
Mm.
find someone who has a different point of view than you, it's like there is no coming together. And I mean, with my following and things, I post, on Facebook, like, I don't know, like 6 times a day, we schedule out the posts. And it's like sometimes I'll go through and I'll read the comments,
I
and it's
bet they're
like,
scary.
and it's people on there all day long.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, arguing back and forth on social media, never getting anywhere. And that stuff, it weirds me out. It
Yeah.
weirds me out that people are willing to spend their time on social media arguing with someone who they never even met before.
I
Like,
know.
to me, it seems like a whole, with social media and going in on that, I mean, it's a whole insecurity thing where you feel like you have to prove yourself to someone on social media who you've never even met. They might not even have a real profile picture of themselves, and you have to
Yeah.
go in there and like prove yourself right. It's really strange to me, and I think social media is the root cause of it.
Man, I totally agree with you. Jordan Peterson was talking about this, and he was saying that it's hard for us to, and this is my words, not his verbatim, but basically it's hard for us to live in a three-dimensional world but treat something as two-dimensional, like social media, like the internet, right? So we read all these comments from people we've never met, but we can't not take it personally as though it's someone that's making an attack against us personally, an actual ad hom attack against us, right? So I think you have tribalism, which you mentioned, and then further indoctrination on social media. And then I was actually just I'm reading a great book, which I recommend to people, called Influence by Dr. Robert Cialdini. And he talks about pluralistic ignorance, where it's basically you might feel something's wrong, right? But if you see that everyone's going along with it, then you kind of fall in line anyways. And they liken it to somebody that, like, I think there was a woman in New York that was stabbed, years ago, like decades ago, was stabbed something like 30 something times. And all these people were seeing it happen over the course of like an hour. And nobody called the police, because they just assumed that someone else had. So everybody just kind of was a bystander that didn't act, right? They said the likelihood that you as an individual would have done it if no one had seen, right? If you were by yourself and you saw this person getting stabbed, the percentage that you would actually call the police is far higher than if you were in a group. So I think going through these comments and seeing things just confirms your own bias. And I think the cognitive dissonance that's required for you to break that pattern, to consider another perspective, you become so indoctrinated that you can't break free. It's ideological possession. So it's scary, man. So anyway, sorry for my little diatribe there, but what do we do with social media then? Because it is so powerful to convey a message. Like, you've been able to reach people in ways that are very, very powerful. So how do we use this tool in a positive manner, right? That's a peaceful manner. Is it just a matter of culturally and societally we have to get used to this new modality, this new medium that we've never had before? How do we reconcile this and make it a peaceful application in our lives?
Right. It's definitely a double-edged sword, I mean, because PragerU, with everything we've done, I mean, 500 million views on my videos alone and 4 billion on PragerU videos. I mean, that's because of social media and being able to
Yes.
reach people and change minds and all that, but then all the adverse consequences of that are obviously pretty terrible with all the other things going on in social media. I wish I had a better answer for your question of how to fix it, but I really don't
Mm.
know. I mean, it's something that people are so addicted to. I mean, they're addicted to it just like any other drug. They go on it all day, again, arguing with people, looking at things, confirmation bias. It happens all day, every day. I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to do except find a way that I think there needs to be the main thing that I would say is that parents need to be more responsible for their children. I mean, we have these parents who give their kid an iPhone or give their kid an iPad and sit them down and let them stay on there all day. They're on TikTok, they're on Snapchat, Twitter, just looking at these things all day. And so they're becoming addicted from a very early age. You know, I find that like children who aren't being treated like that by their parents are much happier children and are probably going to be much more successful in the long run versus parents who just let their kids just sit on social media all day or on their phones all day. I think there's a lot of responsibility that needs to be placed on the parents, actually.
All right, did you like that clip? Remember, that's not the full interview, and you can watch the rest of that discussion right above my head. You can click right on the screen. Go ahead and start that now, but before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. See you inside.